So Mr. Boder Kruger, President, German ASEAN Business Circle, dear distinguished speakers and participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you so much, President Boder Kruger and the organizers for inviting me to this very important meeting today. The title speaks volumes, Vietnam on a new course. I did not really understand every word that the Vice President just said, but I understand that you have very, very good information already about Vietnam. So it is my honor and pleasure to be here and share with you a few thoughts about the present fine relations between Germany and Vietnam, and of course opportunities for the business circle of the two countries to work together to strengthen and broaden the mutually beneficial cooperation. At this, I would call golden time for all of us when Vietnam and Germany are entering a new chapter of their time-tested friendship. And of course, in the context of the newly, entering into force the effective FTA between Vietnam and the EU, the Vice President just mentioned. We are lucky, because given the COVID-19 epidemic, which lasted more than 2 years, our two-way trade continued to rise, to increase. And, in very important part, is due to the fact that we have the FTA. In Southeast Asia, only Vietnam and Singapore have such a, bilateral trade agreement with the EU and, of course, with Germany. So I think that's the time for us now to try to move on after the epidemic ends. I just assumed my post 6 months ago. So, before I used to say that, I'm a new ambassador. But now I think I cannot say that I'm a new ambassador any longer. So the pressure is increasing on me. I have to learn more and more. And today, I think that's a very good chance for me also to learn. Because if you look at the list of speakers, it's very impressive. They are professional specialists. Our speakers today, I think, know about Vietnam much more than me, and also know about the needs of business circle of Germany. So I'm also looking forward to listening to the presentation today. So let me just list a few, I think, 5 reasons why now, exactly now, is the best time for us to move forward, to work together, and to strengthen our cooperation. First and foremost, the two countries, as you may know, have very, very solid foundation and effective frameworks for bilateral cooperation. This month, October, actually marks the 11th anniversary of Vietnam-German strategic partnership. 11 years ago in October, I remember that it was, I think, 11th of October, Chancellor Merkel came to Hanoi. After a very, very long time, we did not have a chance to receive any high-ranking, leaders from Germany. And together with our leaders, they signed this strategic partnership agreement. So after more than 1 decade of implementation, we now can see the fruits. We can see that since then, about 1 decade, the two-way trade turnover between our two countries just doubled, reaching in 2021 over 11.2 billion US dollars. And here, let me tell you a secret. Germany and Vietnam, we have very good relationship, but we always have a big quarrel, big disagreement. That's in the figures. In German statistic, it's totally different. In German statistic, last year, our two-way trade reached 17.1 billion US dollars. And we say that, only 11. So the difference is very big, 6 billions. Why? I don't know. So I need to ask the specialist today to explain to us why. But by the end of September this year, the total trade of our two countries reached over 9.45 billion US dollars. Very huge jump up, it's about 17%. Again, German would argue that it could be 12 5.16 billion instead of just, very small $9 billion US dollars. Of course, those are just figures, but what we see here is very, very, very good perspective for us to work together. And so far, you also know, Vietnam is German's biggest trading partner among ASEAN, and EU are our biggest trading partner among EU members countries. But here, there's big room for improvement. We believe that if the investment protection agreement is ratified, our perspectives, our cooperation would be much, much brighter. Right now, we have only 11 out of 27 members of the EU ratify, and not yet German. It's a big surprise, for the EU-Vietnam trade agreement. Germany was the driving force. We would like to thank you very much for your support. Without Germany's support, we could not have such agreement in place so fast, and in very good shape for all participants, for all sides. And now we need you to help us again. I understand that because of your domestic politics, the system has to be, restart again after the new government took place. But please, I think you are very powerful, the business circle. Please help us to ask your MPs, your politicians to move faster. If Germany ratifies, other countries will follow suit, because you are the leader of Europe. You are leader of the world now. So we really hope that you could help us again. Another framework I would like to share with you is that we are now finalizing the new 2 years action plan to implement our strategic partnership for 2023-2024. I hope that next month in November, we can formally formalize this 2 years action plan. That's another very important foundation for us to move forward. The second reason why we are saying that this is the golden time for us to accelerate our cooperation is the recent developments in Europe and in the world, especially the war in Ukraine. We talk about the war all the time, right? And also the global confrontation, I would say, global competition among great powers also pose a lot of challenges to all of us, especially for small and medium-sized countries like Vietnam. But at the same time, it strikes on the need for businesses from Germany, from Europe, from all over the world, to diversify their investment in trade, not to put all your eggs in one basket. So I hope that you all know about the China plus one, Japan plus one, or who the bigger guys plus one in Vietnam is among the top choices, options for you to put your egg in to make a more secure portfolio of your investment in trade. I hope so. And third, again, the very negative impact of the war in Ukraine and conflicts around the world, including the energy crisis, climate change challenges, also have accelerated the energy transformation. And on the other hand, are giving countries like Vietnam some competitive advantages in attracting FDI in the fields of renewable energy, green energy, and sustainable development, especially in the fields of agriculture. So you can see that every crisis can offer us some opportunity. The fourth reason why we need to accelerate our cooperation right now, why you should come to Vietnam and increase your investment, is that the traditional and structural complementarity between the two economies. We are complement to each other. We are not direct confrontation, right? We are not direct competitors. So Vietnam has rich natural resources, abundant solar and wind powers, long and easy access coastline, while Germany has modern technologies, investment capital that Vietnam needed. And moreover, Vietnam's policies of very balanced, sustainable development, environmental protection, And together with our very ambitious commitments at COP26, have also created very good conditions to strengthen cooperation with Germany on the above-mentioned areas, energy, renewable energy. You know that when our Prime Minister signed and announced the commitments at COP26 that we would have, carbon neutral by 2050, and he came back, he got under big fire because he said, no, look, too ambitious. Germany committed to 2045. How on earth Vietnam could just behind Germany only 5 years? How could he do that? But, the Prime Minister said, we made a commitment. Our words is our commitments. We need to do that. So we need your support, your investment, your technology to meet our commitments, our promises at COP27. And we are very grateful for Germany's support to select Vietnam as a new just energy transformation partner for the G7. You are the G7 chair this year, right? And we really thank you very much for the adoption in the selection of Vietnam. And here, of course, we need to mention another aspect is that EU, Germany, and Europe needs a lot of new workforce. By estimations, that during the next few years, Germany would require additional hundreds of thousands of new workers. In Vietnam, we do have millions of young workers, eager to learn and very quick learners. And a lot of them are working here and are appreciated by businesses from Germany. So we hope that we could accelerate our cooperation in terms of vocational training and providing Germany with a new, fresh, young, skilled workforce. That's also very important. We not just talk about the nursery, but also hospitality, engineering, construction, etc. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, key international organizations have recently given a very positive and encouraging economic outlook for Vietnam. The World Bank forecasts that Vietnam's economic growth will reach over 7% this year. But for the last 9 months, we reached 8.4 already. It's incredible. And in next year, the forecast is 6.7, significantly higher than the average growth in Asia. In Asia, it's only 4.6, the forecast by the World Bank. The Financial Times from the UK see Vietnam as one of the 7 prominent economies in a volatile world because of our very high growth and controlled inflation. And the ADB, the Asia Development Bank, also highly values the macro stability, sound monetary policy that ensures flexible and reasonable exchange rates and effective price control measures by the government of Vietnam. And finally, the credit rating agency Moody's has recently decided to raise Vietnam's long-term national credit rating to Ba2 with very stable outlook. So ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very confident that the future of our cooperation is bright. But we need your help. We need organizations like the German ASEAN Business Circle, like our very famous lawyer from Duan Morris. You are perhaps the most famous person in Vietnam. Everybody knows you. And of course, you present here. I see the speakers from Vietinbank, from others agency here. We need you to help spread the word and help give advice and provide services for German, European, and Vietnamese businesses so we can work together. So thank you so much for coming here, for your time, listening to my advertisement of Vietnam, try to sell Vietnam. And I'm here, our colleagues from the Consulate General, we have Mr. Long here, and our staff at the embassy are at your disposals. We would like to work closely with you. You have the the German ASEAN Business Circle has almost 30 years in providing excellent service for our region in Germany to work together. It's 1993, right? Next year, big anniversary. I hope that you would invite me to this celebration. So thank you very much, and have a great evening. Thank you.